Oh man, I think I might be lost. Oh, hi there. I'm Rich, KB8TVB. You know, setting up a portable radio operations while hiking can be fun and is relatively simple. You don't necessarily need a big setup, powerful transmitter, or the latest and greatest in mobile whip technology to strap on your backpack. All that you need is just a piece of wire and of course your favorite QRP rig. Today I'm going to show you some of the options that I have used in the past while hiking using my Yaesu FT817 QRP radio. And we're going to have a little bit of fun today. Of course, we'll set up a long wire antenna, and also we'll have a special antenna that we're going to test out today, which I had a little bit of success in using while backpacking. So come along with me. That is if you want to get lost. Oh man, spider. Now, they said that if you look at the sun, you can generally find south with your watch. Well, I don't have a watch. Well, anyways, first up, you gotta take your backpack off if you wanna operate portable. That is, again, if you have a good mobile HF antenna that you can strap to your backpack, you can do that. You can operate while that you're hiking around on the Appalachian Trail or whatever trail, your backyard trail if you want. But like I said, today we're going to use some long wire antennas plus a special antenna, which I'll get to later. But first off, some of the things that you might want to consider while taking your prized HF radio out in the wilderness is you have to keep it away from the elements. Weather, a good waterproof bag to put all of your equipment in. One of the things that I have experienced in the past is when you're packing your equipment away, whether it's a HT or the latest and greatest of all band equipment, is to take the battery out from your particular piece of equipment, because when it is inside of your backpack, for some odd reason it likes to turn on when you least expect it to, and being it's buried deep within your backpack, you don't hear it on hissing away, and by the time you take it out, when you're ready to operate, you've all of a sudden realized that all of your battery power just went up into thin air. It's an 817. Got it! My favorite radio in the world, the Yaesu 817 QRP rig. This is the ultimate QRP rig. Shh, don't say that in front of the K2 crowd. But this is the best one of all, and I finally got one. When you're out backpacking around, you want a radio that has minimal space plus minimal amount of weight, and the 817 does the job quite well. Over here, I have built an antenna tuner for the 817. This is an actual antenna tuner because instead of hooking the coax cable to the antenna tuner, you are connecting the antenna directly to the antenna tuner. So you are in effect manipulating the input reactances of a dipole antenna. Now, it does have a coax cable which connects directly to the front RF connector of the 817 itself. Now, since my antenna tuner had fallen, let's take a look at the battery that it uses. Now, the stock 817 comes with its own internal battery. Now, the internal battery, from what users have complained in the past, is that it doesn't have enough capacity to operate the 817 with in a extended period of time. So I've opted to use a small gel cell battery, a 12 volt, 2.9 ampere hour gel cell battery, which is plenty of capacity to operate the 817 continuously for 2 hours. So since I caught one, let's go use it. Now, I won't go into detail on how to set up a dipole antenna. For that, I recommend that you take a look at my previous video, how to run a portable radio operations setup. In that video, it details on how to set up an antenna, your mast, and to operate your radio equipment while out in the field. But right now, let's get to the part which is very important while hiking around with your portable radio station, and that is, what antenna should I use? Now, that all depends on where your hiking location is, whether it's on trails that are in the prairie, in wide open areas, or in dense forest. For the latter, in dense forest, you can use many different things that will minimize the amount of impact upon the environment and you yourself. For that, I recommend mobile antennas mounted on the back of your backpack. Or you can go the route of using magnetic antennas, magnetic loops, which are very small and they are very portable as well. Now, if you're hiking in wide open areas on prairies, which do have trees that you can find, I recommend that you use a long wire. You have plenty of space to use. Now, there are hikers who do prefer to operate as they are traveling down the trail. Some precautionary measures that you might want to consider if you're going to do that is if you are using a mobile antenna that is mounted on your backpack, you want to have a good counterpoise. Any mobile radio antenna needs an RF ground to work upon. The way to do that is to attach a long leading wire that trails behind you, and that is to ensure a relatively good RF counterpoise. Another thing is to have the radio mounted on your chest, preferably somewhere up above high where you can pay attention to where you are walking and also pay attention to what is going on the radio. Now, another precautionary measure is if you are using a mobile antenna mounted on your backpack, you're pretty much going to count on that you will attract these. Yeah, branches that are over ahead. And when you're traveling down the trail, it is a really big nuisance to have your mobile antenna getting caught constantly into overhead branches. So I really would prefer people do that in wide open areas like prairie lands and fields, things of that nature. You know, I think I missed that junction maybe 3 miles back. The mystery antenna that I was talking to you about earlier is this. Yes, it's the tree itself. Tree antennas have been experimented upon ever since the advent of radio. The basic concept of how a tree antenna works is that you couple the RF energy into the tree trunk itself, and the tree, through the magic of nature itself, radiates the RF energy. The way that this is done is that you use a toroidal coil that is wrapped around the tree trunk itself, and you drive either a ground rod into the ground, or you place a screw into the base of not the antenna, but into the base of the tree trunk itself. Now, experimenters, including the military, have had moderate success with a tree-style antenna. They have propagated RF energy out of deep forests, rainforest, and deep heavy woods such as this. This is an antenna that you probably would want to think about when you're out hiking around.